I want to hear more from Rufus. Like, how did you?
Go ahead. You take
I mean,
over. Ask some
how
questions.
did you like? You say you sort of have been revisiting your own thinking. Like, do you feel like you sort of, I don't know, sort of turned yourself into his lawyer in a way, and were making excuses for him through those moments when? Because I think a lot, I know a lot of people like you who I trust who still say like that wasn't my perception that he was so out of it, but now they're revisiting it. So how do you think about that now?
Then it's this. So I'll give you an example. Okay. The debate. The debate was a disaster. We all know that it was a disaster. I was in Atlanta. My mindset was that I was not in debate prep. I know I've read all those stories in the last couple of months. I get it. I could not have been more excited about that debate. I thought the president was going to kill it. And that is where my mind was. So that in by the way, remember, this is something that like none of these journalists, and I know Jake and Alex very well. I talked to Alex for this book. That was our decision to do that. We were the ones, it was our campaign that said we want to do a debate in June because we
But
felt
but
like we
but Rufus, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do
yeah,
want to move. I want to get
yeah.
everybody in. I just want to button this up with Ben's help.
I'll stop. Sorry.
The debate was a disaster. No, no, no. Please jump back in. The debate was a disaster. But
Yeah.
was it a disaster because the president was exhibiting signs of a loss of mental acuity, or some other reason that's more innocent? When you say
Well, I,
when you say
yeah,
you're
I mean,
rethinking when you say you're rethinking the whole thing, are you rethinking whether that debate was not a one-off but a sign of a loss of mental acuity?
I think what happened there was that we saw something that frankly I had never seen before in that context. Certainly not. And
I
let's-
got to stop you, Rufus.
yeah,
He spoke to a dead congresswoman. How can you say you had never seen it? He did it in
I
public.
honestly I don't remember when that was. I do remember what you're talking about, but I don't remember the time.
But he mumbled at events. He lost his train of thought of events. He called people by the wrong name in public.
Look, Mark,
This is what but Rufus, this is what
yeah.
confuses me. And I don't mean to single you
No,
out, but
because
you're
then
here.
I need to
But
push
you
back. If you're going to call me out on that, I need to
yeah,
push back.
yeah.
You also weren't there when we were on Air Force One flying home in the middle of the night, and he come home and want to have a million conversations with
Rufus,
us about the substance of the debate of an event.
he had good moments and bad
That's right.
moments. As,
But that's
right.
my point.
But what I'm
Yeah,
saying is I don't understand it. And again, I'm only singling you out because you're here. There are
yeah,
people like you who say he had a lot of good moments. Of course, he did the State of the Union. And this is
yeah.
why I say when people on the right say Barack Obama was running the government secretly, no, there were plenty of good moments for Joe
That's right.
Biden. But
Yeah,
I don't understand how anyone, including you and Jake Tapper, could see the debate performance and say, oh my God, I never saw this. We all saw it. I saw it in 2017 at a book tour event he was doing. No, there was no secret about his loss of acuity. It was out there. That's why 75% of the public said no, not because of his age. They wouldn't have been troubled by his age. So how can you say, I say respectfully, how can you say you'd never seen what happened in the debate? It happened countless times in
but
public.
it was never like that, Mark. I mean, it wasn't. And I mean, in my mind, look, I can only tell you how I feel. And I never, in my mind, I can go to my grave believing I never lied. I've never lied about this. This is how I felt sincerely. And I just, and then, but that debate changed everything for a lot of us.
Okay, Ben,
It's just the truth.
Ben, do you see my confusion? The debate was high profile. It was poorly timed. It was it was in a moment of tension. But the traits he exhibited in the debate were not new. They just weren't.
Yeah, I mean, but I do think, like Rufus says, like we all do see what we want to see, right? And I think what's the Orwell line? The hardest thing in the world
But
is seeing
that's
what's in
that.
front of your face.
But
I mean,
irrespectfully, that's
and
not
when
what
people are
Rufus
looking
said. That's not
for,
what Rufus said. Rufus didn't say we all see what we want to see. He said I never saw that.
is that not what you said, Rufus? Do
No,
you feel some of that?
it's totally what I said. My point is when I said to Ben earlier, I've been doing somersaults in my
Yeah,
brain about this, is because I don't know if I was trying to convince myself of something that wasn't there. I don't know that. I can just tell you how I felt on debate
got
night.
it, got it. All right, Ben. Yeah,
And then my perception changed.
yeah.
Now because I had seen, I was there too. Like I was at the State of the Union, just like I was at the debate. And then I was able to tell all the people who were saying all the stuff, look at him. Look at that is the guy that I see so much of the time.
Right.
And again, I'm not defending this. I'm not. I'm just trying to tell you from someone who is not inner circle, not
Right.
full on inner circle, but was there a lot, what I
Right.
saw and where
I'll just say one more, and if you feel you want to respond, you should. But I will say, amongst the most tactile and granular descriptions of a loss of mental acuity previous to the debate was at fundraisers, including in Manhattan, where you and I both heard from people immediately after, all three of us heard from people immediately after the fundraisers. Their description of his performance, not on camera, but their description of his performance with 20 rich people in Park Avenue was like the debate. Lost his train of thought, didn't say the right thing, didn't finish his sentence. All right, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Ben, I want to show you one thing, and then I want to let everybody in. Go ahead. No, you go.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no. Look, yes, I did hear all of that. There is no doubt about it. From time, but again, there were good moments, there were bad
Yeah,
moments,
yeah,
and some people thought, he was on fire sometimes, and
yeah,
it is, and that is just the truth.
yeah.
But yes, I
Right.
mean, and then the 3.5 weeks after the debate, I mean, we were in this because I was on the front lines of this, and
Yeah.
it was the by far those 3.5 weeks, professionally and otherwise, easily the hardest 3 weeks of, well, 3.5 hardest weeks of my professional life, without a doubt.
I bet. That was a delicious video experience. I think you'll agree. Now, what you need to do in return for getting to enjoy that is hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a thing.